piece of metal jewelry. Okay, the requirements are going to be that you do some puncturing or punching where you cut from the inside of the metal, and then you'll also have to do some cutting on the outside of the metal. All right, I know we talked a little bit about getting ideas last time, no? Maybe not because of the snow day. Okay, so some of you might have some ideas already. Hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense what will work and what won't work. I know some people they had some questions on that. Okay, so mine, I started this the other day, but I'm gonna use the same piece of metal to demonstrate on. I'm not using a nice piece of metal. I do not have enough metal pieces that you guys can have more than one. You'll each get one and that will be it. All right, safety is of the utmost importance during this project. You will be using a metal blade. It does cut through metal. It's pretty thin. So in order to like cut your finger off or something, you'd have to really work hard at it. But if you cut yourself with this blade or somebody else, it will hurt. It'll be like a really sharp, owie paper cut.
Probably blood.
Yes. So also these things can snap really easily, and it has been known to happen where it'll snap off, and if your hand is in the wrong spot, I need you to just be quiet, okay? The blade will get stuck in your finger, yikes. And that is a yikes. Thank goodness we have Mr. Johnson here.
That would hurt.
He's the expert blade remover. So it's not like a deadly situation. It's not like a life or death kind of a thing, but we still need to be respectful and be safe, all right? So this is the saw blade. These are your saws. Yes, we will be doing everything by hand. Miss B has a different strategy for putting the blade in. If you want her to show you hers later, she'd be happy to. There are tiny little teeth on the saw blade, and you need to make sure that they're facing downward and out, okay? So right now I can tell that they are facing downward. You'll have to like look at it up to the light because it's really small, but it will make a big difference. You will not be successful cutting through your metal if your blade's not facing the right way. So to put it inside of this saw, all these pieces move and to make it bigger or smaller. And it's just really I'm really shaky, so it makes it even more difficult. It's just not the easiest thing. It takes a little bit of coordination to do it. You can always have your neighbor help you if you need to. But you want your blade to be in the saw really tightly. So when I first put this in here, see how my blade can wiggle around a little bit? That's not going to work. This blade will break if I try to use it like this. So my technique is I open it up from this side a little bit and I kind of put it in my hand. Miss B does something where she puts it between herself and the table, and she'd be happy to help you with that if need be. So now
it's like a string.
It's like a string. It's in there really nice and tight. Okay? Before you cut, you'll need one of these little, it's like a jeweler's bench. I guess I don't know the technical term for it. This you're going to just clamp onto your table. And then this little groove right here, this little keyhole, is where you're actually going to do your cutting. You'll see that some people on this one have cut into the wood. That's not good. That's another good way to break a blade. Don't put this on there with all of your muscles. I had some people in my last class put it on so tight that it like dug itself into the wood of the table and they couldn't get it out. But they had to get it out because I'm not any stronger than some of you boys in here. Like I clearly am not as strong as you. Or you. I'm obviously not as strong as Spencer is. So if it just needs to be on there so that it's not moving around too much. It doesn't need to be wrenched into there. Okay, so here's my design. I have a circle, and then I have a B inside of my circle. Okay, I'm going to cut the whole B out. I'm not going to keep those little, you know how in a bubble letter B, there'd be little circles inside of there. I'm not going to keep those because there'd be no way for them to attach on unless I did like a little notch of metal, and I can help show you that later. But I'm just going to cut the whole shape out because it's still going to be representative of a B. The first thing you're going to do, safety glasses, very fashionable and lovely. You need to have them on. I know that these are not power tools, but you still need safety glasses on. I didn't tell the other class. My husband has gotten metal shavings in his eye 3 times now. 3. I mean, I understand the first time, maybe the second time, the third time, though, was like kind of blew my mind. But we had to go to the emergency room and had his eye numbed and then had metal shavings scraped out of his eye. It's not pretty. You don't want that to happen to you. They rust in your eye. It's really bad news. So please wear safety glasses. No exceptions. You will be wearing safety glasses.
You said wear safety glasses
Yep.
and not things.
Then no metal can get in your eye. Yep, and it'll just make you safe. So the first thing you're going to do once you have your picture drawn, you're going to take some rubber cement, which is like that old school glue, and you're going to rubber cement your picture onto your little piece of metal. So I already have taken care of that. I think you guys kind of know how to do that. That's going to hold your picture on so that you know what you're cutting. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do cutting from the inside. The reason is there's not enough to hold on to if we do the outside first. It just makes it a much easier situation. So I've already made a drill hole in here, but I'm going to make another one to show you.
You said make that make this.
Yep, you'll see. So when I drill, I'm going to hold onto the drill with a little bit of downward pressure, not like super, like you don't need to use all your muscles, but you want to have a little bit of pressure on it. And I clearly don't have enough hands to hold on to this too. If it makes you feel better about it, you can have your neighbor hold on to your metal. Don't push really hard. These drill bits are really thin and they do break. And then I have to go to Farm and Home and buy some more. So, not too bad, right? So now I have a hole inside of my metal in which I can cut from. All right, so I'm going to take my blade. I already unscrewed it from one side. I'm going to put it through that hole. Remember, the saw teeth are facing downwards.
That's the technique I use, basically.
I still didn't get it very tight though, so I had to still. All right, please make sure this metal is heavy. Please make sure you're not like dangling it around when it's on through the saw blade like this. So then